Hey, so I just started the stream now. I should be getting the notification for my first opponent at any minute, so I will be right there. So I'm just quickly checking. I want to see how many people actually checked in. We have exactly 265 people who have checked in, so I think that means it's going to be a double elimination Swiss system. And I actually just got a notification for my first opponent. I have 10 minutes to join. I do need to quickly take care of a task right now, so I will be right back. What's up? I just noticed somebody hopped in, so thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I'm about to start the tournament any minute. I'm just need to quickly take care of a task right now. But yeah, I'm definitely here. I just started the stream, so you're at the right place if you're watching Paper Cut Radiation.
Fight.
Target down.
I'm back, and now I'm going to try to look for my opponent right now, because I believe I got the notification. Yeah, it's right here, so I'm definitely going to face my first opponent. Alright, and I'm joining. So, this is actually a double elimination Swiss tournament. What it basically is, it's like a double elimination tourney, but the difference, though, is that there's no bracket. Instead, people are just going to be playing other random people, and how it works is that the person who the person who wins their first set, they play against another person who happens to win a first set. Someone who wins like 3 sets and loses 0 sets plays another person who wins 3 sets and loses 0 sets, and that's how the opponents get paired up and all that. So they get paired against each other. So that's how double elimination Swiss works. Now here's the thing though, the reason why I call it double elimination is because, or it's referred to as double elimination, is because if I lose 2 sets, I'm gone no matter what. Now here's the thing though about double elimination Swiss, is that if I win 8 sets, I'm still gone. Everybody who plays 8 sets is done no matter what. And then the scores and the placement are based on how tough the opponents were, what the opponent's tournament history and records are. Like, how tough of an opponent did you beat and all that. So that's how they scored at the end. But not that many people get 8-0, so. So, of course, this means I'm going to be muting the mic, though, now that the tournament match has started. So, I'll do my best.
has revealed your true character.
Round 1. Fight!
Ask for mercy. You will scream.
Round 2. Fight! Finish him! Sub-Zero wins.
I disown you in every way.
Then disown my name, Sub-Zero.
Round 1. Fight!
I will end you.
Round 2. Fight!
This fight was your last.
Sub-Zero wins.
So that will conclude my first match, or first set. Alright, oops, I think I bumped the mic by accident, sorry about that. So, let's see what's... I don't know if the next season of rank matches is happening, I need to check. I don't know if it was actually not available or if that was just lag. Let's find out. Let's say it's Monday. It usually starts every Tuesday. No, it's not there, so... So, we'll probably just go to practice then. I can give you some more lessons. Excuse me. So the thing about Sub-Zero is that he does have some good mix-ups. So if you notice, he only has one mid though. This one startup mid. The other mids he has, you have to do it off of a string, like that. See, high, mid, mid. Back 2 is like the only move he has that actually is a startup mid. Now, what's so important about a mid? Well, you can actually duck highs. You could duck a high if you just press down and crouch like that. So, I'm going to show you. So you notice that's a high, but watch. Now what happens if I block it though? I block it, I take chip damage, unless it's a flawless block, which is very hard to do. See? Now, here's the thing. What happens if you grab? I can duck that too, right? But if I block, I get grabbed, and it's super hard to break out of it. So, let's see. That's Scorpion's mid. What happens if he does an overhead though? See, notice the overhead? This is a big difference between an overhead and a mid. An overhead will crush a crouch block. A mid does not though. Well, we'll get to overhead in a bit. So what's so important about a mid? Wait, hold on, let's, I want to do just a regular mid, so let me try this. Wait, that's an overhead, sorry. A little rusty with Scorpion. Let's see, which one is a mid? Oh, that's a mid, here we go. There we go. So, what if I try to duck it? Well, nope, won't work. Nope, won't work. So you see a lot of people, if they predict a throw and you crouch, catch them with a mid. With Sub-Zero you can do this. Or if you're really good, you can do a follow-up. That's what's important about a mid. Now here's why an overhead is important. This is what makes Sub-Zero a little bit risky to use, is that he only has... Wait, that's not what I want to do. He only has one overhead. See, notice the overhead? The difference between an overhead, as I just showed you before, is that an overhead crushes, which means breaks through a crouch block, whereas a mid does not. That's the big difference. But of course, let's take a look at the frame data for Sub-Zero. If you notice, overheads usually, if not all the time, if you notice the startup frame is higher. That's off of a combo. Let me show you the basic attack. So if you notice, so double axe slam. So the startup for this overhead attack is 19. So that's gonna, that's not so fast. Look, rising axe, this is the mid, that's 14 frames. So you see, both of them have good sides and bad sides. This mid, sure, it's fast, but it's not going to crush a crouch block. Whereas this is slower, but it does. So if you're predicting that your opponent is just going to crouch block immediately after he gets up, or if you approach them, you think the opponent's just going to crouch block, boom. Now, if you think your opponent, if the opponent has a habit of just ducking, like ducking and then duck punch like that, and a 1, do that, because an overhead attack is maybe too slow. You may get poked by a down 1 before you can land. Depends how fast your opponent is. Or sometimes you can fight fire with fire. If somebody tries to do a down 1 on you, do it right back. Especially if they're at minus, you'll also be at a frame advantage. Look, 13 frame advantage. So let me show you. I know I've been explaining a lot, but let me show you. In fact, probably should make him do it twice in a row to show you the difference. So if they're trying to, if you're at a distance and they're trying to crouch attack, see, notice a high. That was a high. That was a high. They ducked that, but not a mid. But you see, notice that that I was too slow with the overhead. I got him this time, but you won't get him all the time. See, mids are faster. Or what you could do is, as I said, fight fire with fire. So if, let's say, you block it, because you're at minus, right? No, I'm sorry, the opponent's at minus. When you block it, then boom. If you catch your opponent spamming down ones, just do that. And then if, let's say, your opponent tries to do a down one again, that's a perfect time to land that mid. And what's better with Sub-Zero in particular is that you can actually get the opponent in the air and get a combo. Again, this is with Sub-Zero Dead of Winter variant. You can, if let's say you happen to land it, you can cancel into the enhanced ice ball, but better to just do the back two instead of the front two because it's a mid. Now I'm going to show you air attacks. I think we talked enough about that. I'm going to show you how air attacks work. Do you see the difference? If your opponent is crouch blocking and they block an air attack, if you do it too quickly though, it's a mid, so they'll block it. But if your opponent just catches you jumping and you land an overhead attack, you can catch them crouch blocking. In fact, I'll show you. I'll show you what this looks like. See? This is why you do an uppercut when the opponent jumps. If you do an uppercut though, if your opponent does an uppercut fast enough, they can tech that. Or if you want to be fancy, it's a little bit difficult to do. You could just, as I said, it's difficult to do. You could, gotta be fast though. You could turn it into a combo. But sometimes I just do the uppercut because it's safer, you get guaranteed damage, and you don't risk giving your opponent a free combo by eating the attack. Because really good opponents know how to like turn a hop kick into a combo, a good combo that can get some good damage. Now I'm going to show you the frame data though. In fact, why did I do that? Hold on. See, you did it quicker, and look at the watch the frames. See? Has an advantage. He's +7 on block, right? But if you notice, when he did it faster, he was only +1 on block. See, the longer you hover in the air, see what I mean? The longer you hover in the air, the more frames you're going to be an advantage of. The more plus you'll be, which is a good sign. Now I'm going to show you what jump attack is. Look at that, 11 frame advantage. Now what if I get hit? Look at that, 34 advantage. This is why sometimes to confuse your opponent. If you want your opponent to guess a 50-50, you gotta stop doing that. If you want your opponent to guess a 50-50, watch this. I'm gonna actually try to get my opponent to block, so it would be better to explain it. So, look at this. Wait. See, even if the opponent is blocking, it can still get a good mix-up. For example, this is obviously a low. I don't need to explain that much. If you notice, back 3 is 13 startup. So imagine if you land the jumping 2, which lands this punch, do it at 11 frames if you do, or depending how fast you do it, you maybe only be at 1 frame. But if, let's say, your opponent if you catch your opponent, if your opponent does not have a habit of teching jumps, you can take a chance. I mean, you can afford to take a chance and try to land a plus on block. And your opponent is pretty much going to be forced to guess a 50-50. So that's minus 13 or 19. So you can do the overhead or the low. If your opponent tries a crouch block, just catch them with an overhead. Like that. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to get the opponent to stop. So that's a 50-50 if now I'm going to get the opponent to stop blocking. Wait a second. If let's say your opponent tries to uppercut you or land a combo but it's too late, but if they do it too late, if they catch you jumping too late, if they're not fast enough, watch the frame advantage. They'll obviously get hit if you land the attack faster. See, when you jump, it's good to be unpredictable with your attacks on how soon you're going to attack, because you may confuse your opponent's timing, which is good. So watch what happens. Watch. Do the math. That's 32 plus frames. And considering the fact that it only takes 13 frames to do a low kick, or 19 frames to do that, or if you want to do a mid, that's only 14 frames. So this is why you have a guaranteed combo after this, assuming you don't drop it, of course. So this is why, unless an opponent is really good at uppercutting you, teching that, try it, because it definitely pays off. In fact, let's do the math. Let's pretend you have both meters intact. That's 350 damage. That's more than a third of the opponent's life. See, if you're catching your opponent, look how much damage that is. This is why it's good to try to jump and then land a 2. Because you can easily get a guaranteed combo if you hit the opponent, because you're at such a high frame advantage. Look, 32. That's a lot of frames. Plus frames, so. And in fact, since he's out of corner, let's see what you can do if he's out of corner. That's 370 damage. That's close to 40% of your opponent's life. Now let's see what happens if you do a crushing blow. That's almost 400 points of damage. Well, what if you do it on a fatal blow? A little bit riskier to do it on a fatal blow because you can't afford to risk being uppercutted because you don't have that much life left. But if, let's say, your opponent never techs your jumps, if you notice your opponent never tries to tech your jumps, watch. Let's see if I can do this. Whoops, hold on. It's a little difficult to do. Let me try this. Just gotta time it right. Hold on. Okay, I won't do the punch. I'll just. Oh, that's right. My fail blow needs to recharge. Silly me. All right. Let's see. I got it. But let's see how much damage that is. I'll just let this speak for itself. That's gonna be over 400 damage. Look at this. 432 damage? All you have to do is land a throw. That's half your opponents if you combine that with a throw. If you're able to land a throw. So this is why trying to get yourself a 50-50 is, even on block, a plus, a jump 2 is still going to be is still going to be an advantage, because even on block it puts you at a plus frame. In fact, I'll show you one more time. Look at that. +9. +10. -13 star on the low. I'm sorry, not -13. 13 startup, frame startup. 19 frame overhead. You know, your opponent is pretty much forced to guess. In fact, what you could do, if your opponent is then prepared for a 50-50, try to catch him off guard with a throw. It's 130 life. And then if you do it again with a fatal blow. Now your opponent could try to uppercut you, which does work, but if your opponent is too slow, you know, your opponent's taking a chance. If your opponent does it too slow, you'll get a hit. And then you can get some good damage. Again, this is, you know, it is risky, but it does pay off. Now, it's against super advanced opponents who have, like, really good timing, this isn't really going to work. But against, like, beginner players, I mean, especially beginner players, but against intermediate players and even players who are only somewhat advanced, as long as you don't, like, spam it that often, you know, you may still be able to catch them off guard. You can even catch champion players off guard. If, let's say you never really do jump attack, maybe try to catch them off guard. Even champion players can fall into that sometimes. So, you know, it definitely can be a good strategy. So, let's see. It's about to do something I forgot. I'm thinking too many things at once, so. Yeah, I've been talking about frame data a lot. I think a good transition would actually be if I remember what I was going to say, I'll tell you. But meanwhile, I think we talked enough about, you know, jump 2 leading to a combo. Oh yeah, one more thing before I remember now. So sure, this is slower. If you notice, the startup is slower than this. You notice there's only a 6 startup, but it does work because you can try to catch your opponent. If, let's say, you're in the air, if your opponent, it is faster to land even though the startup is slower. So if you've noticed your opponent can be I'm going to show you that you can still get a guaranteed combo. I'm going to get the opponent to stop blocking. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. See? +25. So if you notice the animation is down, if you notice the punch is lower in the air than 2. So 2 is faster, but 1 has better reach below. So if you notice your opponent is a little bit too slow, if you want to try to mess with your opponent's timing, just try to catch him off guard with a jump 1. But that's just kind of a side thing. It is a little bit more difficult to connect that to a combo, because your frame advantage is not as high. But just a little side note. Meanwhile, I think we've talked about enough of the combos. I don't know why I'm doing this. Hold on. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you what plus on block is for Sub-Zero. This is very important because obviously in all fighting games, if you want to play as a character, you're going to want to know what plus frames are, but especially plus on block. So I'm about to show you that right now with Sub-Zero, because I don't think I've ever discussed that particular thing. So let me get my opponent to block again so I can show you. So obviously this, many Sub-Zero players who study frame data knows that this is definitely the highest frame advantage on block. Look at that. And I'm talking about not counting the jump attacks. I'm talking about from the ground. Jump attacks I don't really count, especially since it's pretty universal for people. But look at this. Plus forward 4, plus 4 on block. Look at that. Three. Hold on a second. I need to. One more, please. I need to check something. I think I'm going to get my opponent in any minute, so I'm going to quickly be on guard for that. So look at that, plus 4. So, and then you notice +2. It's a high. It's not a mid. Yeah, sorry, I made a little mistake. So I said earlier that this is the only move that's a mid. This is also a mid, but the startup frame is a lot more intense. You know what I mean? It takes like 25 frames. So this is definitely quicker. It's the only like quick mid from a startup. Because this is going to also be interrupted too, so you gotta be careful there. See, if you're close to your opponent, if you start doing this, your opponent could maybe quickly try to interrupt with a startup 8. You just gotta be a little careful there. You know, may not be for beginner players, but maybe some intermediate players are good at interrupting, so. Of course, this, you're at 1 frame and it's at a disadvantage, so maybe if your opponent tries to mash buttons after that, back 1. Or if your opponent just even moves forward, you can catch the opponent off guard with this long distance attack. Meanwhile, I actually just got my announcement for my next opponent, so I'm actually going to be joining that. So, yeah, I'm about to join my opponent. So you might see a blue screen because you can't see the PlayStation menu on your end. Only I can. Twitch does not allow that, so I'm going to join my opponent right now, and you should be able to see the game screen again. Alright, and of course I'm going to mute the mic as usual so I can focus on the match once the match starts, but not until then. I'm gonna check to see if I got any comments. No comments yet? Okay. If my opponent doesn't join in like a minute or two, I'm gonna send a message to my opponent. I don't know why my opponent's not joining. I'm going to message my opponent right now. Yeah, so I just messaged my opponent on PlayStation. Hopefully the opponent won't respond. This does mean, though, if my opponent doesn't respond within like 10 minutes, I'm going to have to report him as a no-show. I know you're seeing a blue screen. Let's see. Nope, opponent's not joined yet, so. Yeah, if my opponent doesn't join in, let's see, 10 minutes, I'm gonna report a no-show. I've already contacted my opponent, like sent 3 messages to my opponent, so I think that's more than enough. You know, if you want to enter a tournament, you're responsible. By the end of the day, you're responsible. Or if, oh, never mind. I spoke too fast. I was just saying, yeah, you're responsible for making sure you show up to your matches on time.
Sub-Zero, Liu Kang.
Liu Kang player. Alright. Of course this means I'm going to mute the mic.
Round 1, fight! Round 2, fight! Final round, fight! Finish him! Liu Kang wins. Round 1, fight!
simply too fast.
Final round. Fight.
Node under. For mercy.
Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Jackie Briggs, the Hourglass. Round one, fight!
Stomped by a brick. No pain, no gain.
Round two, fight. Finish him. Jackie Briggs wins.
I can definitely see how that person is at level 97. That person is super good. Yeah, hey, I was able to get one match off. You know, still feel good about that. I nearly got two actually. I think if I was able to figure out that character, the way that person played, if I had more time, I think might have been able to beat the opponents. But good news is it's still elimination, which means I still got a chance. So I'm gonna wait a little bit for my opponent to join. There's actually not much in between time because the opponent joined a little bit later than they usually do. So I've about what, 15 more minutes? Okay, 15. All right. Go back to practice. I kind of talked about plus frames on block,
Sub-Zero. Scorpion.
but I didn't have that much time to discuss it in big detail. So the time to do that would be now then. So I've already shown you. Forward 4 is +4 on block, right? So let's do the math here. Let's say you successfully land a forward 4. Obviously, a down 1, if your opponent tries to poke you, the down 1, you'll beat that. So if you think your opponent's going to poke you, just do that. Or what you could do, so let's do the math. Your opponent, if they're at, let's see, +4, then you try to do the mid, like this. (14 minus 4), that's basically becomes 10 frame startup for you. Because you're at plus. Becomes 9 frame startup. If you do this. Back 3. See what I mean? Also, I forgot to say this. I'll get to that later. So, and what's really interesting thing though is that I think I've already said this before, but I'm going to show you again. If you land an attack twice in a row, this was added in the 2020 update. If you land this attack successfully twice in a row, watch this. So you're pretty much encouraged because of the crushing blow. You're encouraged with Sub-Zero to use a plus frame, which I think is really good. So if you're +4, you can try to land a 50-50, or if your opponent constantly down punches that, put yourself at, if you land a down 1, you're at +13. Now I'm going to show you the difference though. Between 4 and 3. This is a 3 attack. They're both highs, obviously. Notice the reach. If you do a backdash, you can't reach. Notice that the 4 has a tiny little bit more reach. But in my opinion, it's not really worth it because 13 frames and 19, that's a pretty big difference. So I would honestly just avoid 4, because sure, it puts you at a 2 for advantage, but let's see how it looks like. Shoot. Hold on. Better see, they're both +2 on block. You could, at distance though, you could set yourself up. You could still set yourself up for a mix-up. You can also do it here too. See, they're pretty much the same overall. So I would just recommend don't even do 4, just do 3. So yeah, just execute 3, don't execute 4. It's my advice though. Oh yeah, well obviously 4 has a little bit more damage. In fact, let's see what the difference is on hit. It's obviously 10 chip damage, basically 1% of your life on block. Let's see if I turn the block off. So that's +14, +16. See, not much of a difference. And you're also, it's harder to catch up to your opponent. See here it's easier to catch up to your opponent. And not to mention the fact, here's another thing, is that many opponents usually naturally freeze if you catch them with this. because you can do a follow-up by mashing X. Or 3, actually. I'm talking about PS4 pad language. So, advice, just do this. Sure, there's a little bit more damage, but is it really worth... Is it worth it? You know, 20 damage is all you'll really miss. So, in my opinion, the good outweighs the bad here. The bad outweighs the good here. I'm gonna switch characters, so...
Sub-Zero. Scorpion.
I'm gonna better keep my eye on the time.
Black Market Alley.
I'm sorry about that. I blanked for a moment. Not gonna lie. No excuses. That was dumb. I meant to hit both of them at Sub-Zero. Mine slipped a little bit, so I apologize for that inconvenience.
Sub-Zero.
Alright, I know I have the right one this time, but both Sub-Zero, good.
Lost half of the Kai team.
So... Let me try that again. See what I mean? It's only a 6 startup. See, one of the things I think a lot of people don't like about Mortal Kombat, and I can definitely see where they're coming from. I would actually agree if there wasn't a way to tech it, but even that can be, you know, you kind of have to rely on, on guessing, which does kind of hurt the game. You know, I think it is a minor flaw, but as I said, the only thing I really don't like, I don't legitimately dislike it. You know, it's definitely it's definitely a flaw, but I don't dislike it. See, in fact, I should probably see if your opponent does, or if you land a plus frame and your opponent just keeps spamming down 4, just do the same thing. You know what? Here's the thing: put yourself in a bigger frame advantage. And you know the best thing is that if your opponent constantly spams down 1, if you put yourself at a frame advantage, this is why I don't dislike it, because there are ways to get around it, even though you can't really depend on guarantees. The only thing I really don't like are the throws, but I've already talked about that a lot in another stream, so I won't get into that in detail this time. So, let's say you... And then your opponent tries, let's say your opponent tries to then, if you put yourself at a plus frame, if your opponent spams down 1, you put yourself at a plus frame, just do that, because, do the math. That's... 13 minus 13 is 0 frames, so 0 frames is obviously going to beat 6 frames. 19, even 19, let's see, 19 minus 13, that's 6 frames. So if your opponent is fast enough, maybe you'll trade attacks. But your opponent has to be super fast if you want to land the overhead. Or you could, if you put yourself at an advantage, you could still land the 14th frame mid. The reason why I suggest using mids or overheads or lows is because if your opponent does down punch, you can... I'm going to show you. Your opponent can duck it, though, if you land a high. That's a problem. See? In fact, see, that's a high, obviously. See, I can duck a high. See, even on a counter. Come on, the uppercut. I'm actually going to right now check to see when my next opponent's going to be on. 4 minutes, so I'll probably get my next opponent announced in the next 4 minutes. Oops. Hold on a second. Need to check here. One moment, please. I'm checking something right now. But as long as you can hear me, that's. I think should be fine. That's the one I'm in today. All right. I think after, we don't have much time now, but I think after the stream, I've talked about a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever talked about how to do an actual combo with Sub-Zero, like the details. So you know what, I think that's probably what I'm going to do after the next match. Now I'll tell you what, even if I lose, since I've already promised, even if I lose the next match, I'll still at least give that lesson on how to do a Sub-Zero combo. And then after that, I'll conclude the stream. So it wouldn't really be fair to just send you on a wild goose chase. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to make advantage of, make use of your combos. It's nowhere near as hard as it is to do Lost DSS, but it's still a challenge if you're not familiar with it. Dash. Because I already talked about how to set up, how to set yourself up to maybe get a combo. But I haven't actually really described the details on how to do it. Sure, you can just do a jump kick and then special attack, and sure, you'll get damage, but just won't be as much damage as you could. In fact, watch this. I want to show you the difference. Yeah, that's good damage. 245, that's still good damage. That's almost a quarter of your opponent's life. So, yeah, that's good. But this is better. It's 286. It's another 40 points of damage. It's nearly 300. In fact, if you use an enhanced ice ball, it's nearly 300. Whoops. Silly me. Of course, you don't want to drop it. Look, that's over 300 with the enhanced ice ball. That's like literally a third. $331. And of course, if you land this attack, land the jumping attack, before I describe that. Insane, I know. That required no meter burns. And I'll get to that in the next lesson. Alright, here's my next opponent, so I gotta head to the tournament match now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. All right. Why is my opponent not joining? Why is my opponent not joining? Here's my opponent. Of course, this means I'm going to mute the mic to focus on the match. Uh-oh, what happened here? Did my opponent just leave? Well, I just took a screenshot of that, so... Why is it saying ending game? Huh. That's very strange. I'm just, like, frozen at the screen here. I don't know if you can see it on your end. We might need to contact the ESL admin. So, huh? I don't know. I don't know if this is on the opponent's end or. Hold on, I'm going to try to message the opponent right now to see what is going on. This should not be happening. You know, I have bad news. I may need to close and reset this bracket. I'm just stuck here frozen. I hate to have to do this and reset the stream, but I may not have a choice. Oh, never mind. Good. So it just says game session is no longer available. I'm going to try to message the opponent right now to see what is going on. I'm gonna try to join my opponent one more time. Alright. Let's hope we don't get disconnect this time. Still got like 20 minutes to complete the match, so we should be fine.
Sub-Zero. Raiden. Lost Hive of the Titan.
Alright, let's do this. I'm gonna mute the mic.
Round 1. Fight. Round 2. Fight. Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Round 1. Fight.
Let the cold be your tomb.
Sub-Zero wins.
Yeah. I'm not making any comments, just to clarify. The opponent did that, and I'm not going to make any comments. People make their choices. You know, I personally don't have anything against rage quitting legitimately in Mortal Kombat, because if you leave in the middle of a match, you know, if you do it legitimately, you at least give your opponent the win. The only thing that I'm against, though, is if the opponent tries to disconnect and then tries to reset the match, so it doesn't get the win doesn't get recorded. That, in my opinion, is when, you know, things start to get messed up. You know, I still remember in Tekken 7, I'm not going to mention names, of course, but in Tekken 7, I've actually had like 2 opponents I faced. This was not on stream, but 2 opponents I faced actually rage quit, but they unplugged the game. And then what they did though is they tried to lie about the win, and they tried to say they won, and they reported to the admin. But I had a screenshot of me actually winning the game before it got officially recorded. You see, they rage quit right before it could get recorded. So, you know, if I didn't have the screenshot, they might have been able to cheat their way to a win. But I had the screenshot. But see, it's a cheating, rage quitting, and then cheating and lying in the win. That's the kind of thing that, you know, that I get upset about. But if people just rage quit in the middle of the game, like, I don't have anything against that. I don't have any comments or anything to say about that. You know, it's their choice. I mean, you know, if they want to give me a free win, that's their choice to make. So, meanwhile, I'm going to give another lesson about combo, as I promised. So, let's get to a map. I'll pick one this time. I know this is my favorite map, though, the Shiroryu Fire Garden. It's a really good map. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. So let's say you're punishing a punishable move. So in fact, let's say you catch Sub-Zero doing this. This move is very punishable. This overhead followed by the forward. I'm sorry, yeah, forward 2 4. See, that's punishable. How do I get a combo off of it? I'll show you. So 1 2 cancel. Also, to clarify, Sub-Zero to the ice ball, it's back. Let's see, forward quarter circle or Hadouken. Hadouken 1, like that. So it's 1 2, and then immediately after you hit 2, you immediately want to do a Hadouken 2 1. So it's down, then to down forward, and then to 2. Or if you want to do a shortcut, depends how you organize your controller. I only do press down forward to get the rhythm, but if you want, you could just press down forward. So that's the first part of the combo. Whoops. See, I'm confusing myself now. So yeah, it's, you know, it's better to just kind of roll your thumb if you're using a pad, to roll your thumb from down to down forward and then to forward, and then release the ice ball as you press forward. So I'll show you. 1 2. Whoops. So to cancel, what that means is you want to land 2, but you want to be able to do the special move, the ice ball move, fast enough before the animation ends. That's the thing. That's how you do the cancel into ice ball. If the animation ends and then you do the ice ball, it won't be a string or a combo. So now that you have actually completed that, we'll take the next step. So your opponent, well, the neat thing about Sub-Zero's ice ball is that your opponent just freezes. So you can actually take a moment, instead of trying to follow up, you can just take a moment to jump, because your opponent is stunned / frozen. Fighting game, if you want to be technical with fighting game terms, you can just call it stunned. So your opponent is stunned because of Sub-Zero's ice ball. That's something that's been around since 1992 in Mortal Kombat 1. So you want to jump and then land a 3 to do the jump kick while your opponent is stunned. we'll do that again. So again, 1-2 Hadouken, Hadouken 1. Hadouken is also Ryu's fireball. It's considered one of the most iconic special moves of video games, or fighting games. A lot of people know what Hadouken is, so and they know the command, so I just say that. But you know, it's down, down forward to roll from down to down forward to forward, and then press 1. You gotta do it quickly. So 1-2 Hadouken. I think they call it front quarter circle. That's what the fighting game terms. I might be wrong about that, so correct me if I'm wrong. So quarter circle. Front quarter circle. So 1-2 Hadouken ice ball, and then jump 3. 1-2 Hadouken ice ball. 1 jump 3. 1-2 Hadouken ice ball, jump 3, and then forward dash. Try to get that command. 1-2 Hadouken ice ball, jump 3, dash. 1-2 Hadouken ice ball, jump dash. Now let's try to complete the combo. So 1-2 Hadouken ice ball, and then jump forward dash, back 1. So I'll do this again. Forward dash, back, habit. So now back forward dash 1, back 1, sorry. So what you want to do though after you do the forward dash is back 1. So back 1 4 3, back 1 4 3, back 1 4 3, back. So let's do it off a combo. 1-2 Hadouken ice ball, jump 3, back 4 3. And then the special move. I'll show you how to do the special move. To do a special move, you press back forward, and then 3. Back forward, 3. Back forward, 3, and press R1. Press the enhance button, wherever that is. Let's see. Hold on. It's 1 and 2 together, but you better just set up a button for enhancers / interaction button. So R1 or whatever it's set up, is 1 and 2 together. That's how you use the enhancer. So just burn a meter. You need a meter to do this though. So this is what we're trying to do. Right after you land that 3, press back forward quickly, and then burn a meter, which is 1 and 2 together, or R1 if you're using a pad. You could also, you can set up macro buttons. Basically, a macro button, to be specific, is if you have like 2 attacks together that are done simultaneously in 1 button. You are allowed to set that up. That is also legal for tournaments, and I strongly suggest doing that to keep yourself from being confused sometimes. And also on the PS4 controller, and especially the PS5, that the attack buttons are pretty spread out, so it's better to just set up macros. That's what they call it. 2 buttons in 1. 2 attack buttons in 1. So meanwhile, I'll show you how to do the combo. So 1-2 Hadouken, jump 3, back 1 4 3, and then back forward 3. Let me try to show you this again. Okay. 1-2 Hadouken 1, and then jump 3, back 1 4. Whoop! I dropped that. Hard to talk and do at the same time. 1-2 Hadouken. 1-2. Oops. 1-2 quarter circle 1 or Hadouken 1, then jump 3, back 4 3, then back back 1 4 3, and then back forward 3 with the enhancer. So that's how you do it. 1, 2, Hadouken 1, jump 3, back 1, 2, 4, 3, back, then the enhancer. 1, 2, Hadouken, back 1, 4, 3, and then back forward 3. It's funny, it's hard to speak it faster than I do it, but I'm sure you get the idea. I can always do this lesson in another stream, but I think I've shown you the basics of how to do the combo. It just takes practice, though, to get into the rhythm of it. Now, meanwhile, I'm going to show you, since I talked about macro, though, I think we've talked enough about the combo. I'm going to show you what another example of macro. You see, in the L1 button on the PS4 pad, I press the L1. That's actually 1 and 3 combined together. But if I wanted to do a throw, I could just press I could just press the square button and the X button, which is 1 and 3 respectively, together. I could press them simultaneously if I wanted to, but I have to press them at the exact same time. So, see, I might do something like this if I press the 1 before the 3 by accident, if I don't press them at the exact same time. So this is where the macro comes in. I actually set up my L1 in the control options menu, and in fact, I'll show you. You see, notice that the L1 says the throw, because the L1 is basically you're combining square and X together, or 1 and 3 together. So if I press the L1, you don't have to worry about not pressing 2 buttons simultaneously. Same with the interactive buttons. See? Down, and then 1 and 2 together. If you wanted to throw that, or if you just want to jump like this, use a meter to use interactive. 1 and 2 together, or just R1. See? Now, of course, use the interaction button to burn a meter. It's basically to enhance a special move. See, you risk dropping it if you try to press 1 and 2 together at the same time, because you might press 2 first, or the triangle button, or 1 first, or the square button first. And if you don't press them at the same time, you drop the combo. But if you press R1, which has 1 and 2 combined, because the controller is set up that way, you don't risk dropping the enhanced. So I'll show you. Remember? Back forward X, or 3, and then R1. The enhancer button. So I'm going to check to see when my next opponent's up. It's not going to be for another 6 minutes, so. Whoops. Now here's a little strategy, though. I'll show you a little strategy. Let's say you don't have any meters to burn. In fact, I'm gonna try to demonstrate this. So let me turn off the meters. Wait, how do we do this? There we go. See, if I have 2 meters, I could use the enhanced ice ball, and I could use the enhanced shoulder dash. But let's say I burn both my meters. So I burn both my meters, right? What's going on here? Why is it recharging like this? There we go. So I don't have any meters to burn, right? But what I could do to still get a good combo is jump 2, and then immediately back 2. So I'll show you. Jump 2, immediately back 2, and then before your opponent lands, press 1, 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 4, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 4. So again. And then you activate a crushing blow if you land successfully, which I did not, so let me try again. Okay. This is no meters, right? That's a crushing blow because it was done off of an 8-hit combo. But you see, this is why it's not a good idea to try to waste your crushing blow, your 1, 2, 4 crushing blow, because for Sub-Zero, 1, 2, 4, if you do it off of a combo of 8, you know, air juggle of 8, that is going to trigger a crushing blow. But remember, crushing blows can only be triggered once a match. So if I try to do this again with no meters, it's not going to activate the crushing blow because I've already done it. And look at the difference. Only 211. See? So that's 211 versus this. Look at that, 304. That's a huge, almost 100-point difference. That's insane. So this is why it's very important to save your crushing blows. Don't use your crushing blows unless you know you have no meters to burn. Also, for Sub-Zero's Dead of Winter, since he has the enhanced ice ball, what you could do is if you land the overhead successfully, forward 2, you could do this. You could immediately cancel it. Instead of using 4, you could cancel it into an enhanced ice ball. And then land a kick, back 1, 4, 3. See, it's 272. It's a lot of damage. I want to show you the frame data, though. I'm going to get the opponent to block. See, it's minus 15, so you do have to be a little bit careful. It's still punishable. You know, not as bad as minus 19, but still punishable. So you just gotta be a little bit careful. But this is why, if you jump and land that, forces your opponent to guess. And if your opponent tries to crouch block, boom, your opponent tries to crouch block. I'm gonna show you. Hold on. How do we do this? Oh, block type. Whoops. Hold on. How do I get him to crouch again? Oh, here we go. See? Even if it's a flawless block, which is not the right time. I don't think I need to show flawless, it's not necessary. But look, watch, if your opponent is duck blocking, and if you have both meters to burn, watch what you can do. Look at that. Over 300 damage, that's around a third of your opponent's life. That's a lot of damage. I'm gonna actually, I think we're out of time here. Yeah, it's about 1 minute before my next opponent, so I think that's, that will conclude the lesson for this intermission, during this intermission. So let's see who my next opponent is going to be. Yep, as I predicted, my opponent is up. So I'm gonna just quickly reset this. Hold on a second. Alright. Now I'm going to look for my opponent right now. You can't see it on your end. So, whoops, hold on. Perfect Spy, that's the name of the opponent. So, I'm going to join. So I have 2 wins so far. I need to win 1 more. I need to win another to get 3. What am I saying? I'll wait a little bit. Didn't have to wait. Alright. So my opponent just joined, and I'm now going to mute the mic again since I'm starting the tournament match. So I'll do my best.
Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero. Special Forces.
Alright, good luck.
Round 2, fight. Sub-Zero wins. Scorpion, Shaolin Trap Dungeon. Round 1, fight. Round 2, fight. Sub-Zero wins.